Hi, so this week I'm going to be installing a tap into a caravan, or should I say replacing a tap. The one I'm doing is in a bathroom, but same procedure for doing one in the kitchen as well. So let's have a look at the tap. So this is the tap that I'm replacing. Now it looks alright and it works, but it's a bit peculiar. It's really low, so when you try and wash your hands, you're constantly banging your hands on it. So I've got a replacement for it. Not particularly expensive, but this one should be a bit longer and a bit nicer when you actually come to use it. Added complication for this particular sink is that it's one of those, let me show you, that swings back into place, so it needs flexible connectors. Tools that you need, clearly we've got first of all these very long sort of box spanners. And those are what you need to get up underneath the tap so that you can undo it for actually for the mounting part. You sometimes do it with other tools, but really a set of these is what you need. Trusty adjustable spanner, perfect for all sorts of plumbing, and again some grips so that you can hold things while you do up the nuts. And then this is an excellent tool. This is for cutting plastic pipes. So in a caravan, obviously the pipes are going to be plastic. These are really quite cheap, perhaps 10 of your earth pounds sort of thing, and you can stick any size plastic pipe in there. I won't stick my finger in too long, and it literally just snips through. Really good. You get a nice clean square joint from it, so that's perfect. As in this particular caravan, the connectors, this used to be this is where the toilet roll holder goes, and inside there you've got all the connectors, so you can see what's connected up here. So the main connectors, so these are the ones for the tap. You've got the cold one there, and you've also got the hot one there, and then various other bits and bobs. So you've got ones to the shower and all sorts of things. So that's what's there. So first of all, let's get the tap off. Right then, so taking one of the small box spanners, you can see there's two ends to it, a small one and a large one. Find the one that fits, and find there are two long screws coming down from the tap underneath from these box section taps. If it's a more conventional tap, there'll be sort of a plastic screw-on ring that you need to undo. These mono block taps. So all I do is put this over the thing, find the nut, and then you just literally can just undo it. And do that to both of them. And you can see now the tap's coming loose. So another 10 minutes. These are very, very long, these screws, so it takes ages to undo. And there's the first one. In fact, the whole thing's come off. And the second one, you can undo that as well. There we go. That one's come off as well. Which means now the tap is free to move. So the next thing we need to do is to take the pipes off. So looking in now at the where the pipes connect, you can see there's a little connector here. So these are the plastic, this is the cold one. So this is a push fit connector onto that. Now I don't really want to take that off unless I have to, because it'll score the pipe and I'll have to trim the end off the pipe. The easiest thing to do is to undo this screw here. So this is this just screws onto the top, so this is a threaded portion. So all we do, we take a pair of grips, so if you adjust it to the right size, and then you put the grips on to the plastic, and you can hold the plastic still. You don't want it turning around while you undo it. And when that's on, we then take just an adjustable spanner and we set that to the right size, and then we get in there, and all we do is simply undo that. Okay, so just twist that and it'll come undone. And you can see this one's now coming nice and easily. So once you've undone it with the spanner, you can get your hand in there and undo. Now of course you have made sure that the pump's not switched on at this point. If there's any residual water left in the system, and there might be some just up above from where the tap is, that water will come out, but don't panic. As long as the pump's not on, as long as there's not a water tank somewhere that's full, then you aren't going to get a huge amount of water coming out. And there we go, that's come off. And you can see that's the threaded portion. So I can now do that to the second one, to the hot one as well. Okay, so here we are. I've now taken the pipes out, they're dangling down the back. This is the little thing that goes underneath the tap. So when you take the nuts off, this is the bit that you're releasing to let the tap go. And then I should be able to just pull the tap out like that. And then when we get to the end, you'll probably find you can only get one of these through at a time. These are quite long ones. So one through, second one through. Now I'm going to reuse the tap tails, and you'll find these things literally just screw out, they're just finger tight, and all you have to do is to undo it just by turning it and it'll come out. As you can see, this particular one, get the camera onto it, has two O-rings. So it's the O-rings that form the seal, and all you have to do is screw it in so that the O-ring fits into the hole in the bottom of the tap, and it will seal. It's a bit peculiar because you feel like you want to get a spanner on here and tighten it up, but you don't want to do that because it can go too far in and actually damage these seals. So all you do is just screw it in till it's tight. There's the one. Oh, there it goes. And we'll take the other one off as well so that we can reuse it. There we are, that's the one tap out. Obviously when you're attaching the tails, you're going to have a blue one and a red one, which correspond to the different heats. So if you want to get them the right way round, and it doesn't really matter if you don't, it just means the tap will, the plus and the red and the blue will go the other way. But generally speaking, they line up, so the one on the right hand side here should correspond to blue. The one on the left hand side should correspond to red. So I'm going to put the blue one and the cold pipe into that side. I'm going to put the red one into this side. And again, it's the same deal. You just do it up so it's finger tight. There we go. That is done. Now this tap's slightly different to the one that came out. There's a rubber seal which goes into that slot, so put it over the tails and then we can push it up and it fits in there, and that's what forms your seal to stop water going down into everything. Other thing is, on this particular one there's only one of these big bolts that goes in, and that's going to go in to the remaining hole in here so that we can actually tighten it up. So we'll put that on before we, let's turn it over. Put that on before we put the thing into the sink. There we are. And that should come tight, and as we tighten up this nut on the other side, obviously that will tighten up the thing on the tap as well. So let's take the nut off so that it will actually go in. And then what happens, you get your other two things. So the rubber goes against the sink so that it doesn't underneath to stop it from being damaged by the metal, and then this thing just goes over there, and you can see as you tighten that then it clamps onto the sink. So let's put the tap in. So back at the sink, you can see I've already got the rubber seal on, don't forget that, otherwise you'll have to take it all to pieces again. Get the tap around the right way, which is like so. We can tell that when the tap's central, if you turn it either side like that, you can find which is the middle point, and that should then point forwards. And then underneath, you're going to take your rubber cushion and the metal bit, and that just simply slips on under there over the long bolt. There we are, and then we get the nut and we'll do that up. Then we take the box spanner again and we can simply tighten that up. You make sure it's all in place so you can feel, and you can get underneath and have a look and make sure that the thing is all square, so that the thing that you are tightening, and you can probably just make it out there, is central so it holds it properly. There we are. We just tighten that up and that should be tapped now, solid. So now we can think about the pipes. So what we're going to do now is feed the pipes back exactly where they came from. It's going to go along underneath, along this pipe here, down there, and then they'll pop back out into this cavity. And this is the bit that will vary based on where you're installing it. You might be scrubbing under a kitchen sink, or you might be having to remove panels to get to it if you're in the bathroom. But in this one it's fairly straightforward, over the top and down the side. So I've got my two pipes that are fed down, and I know I've got the red and the blue the right way around, and you will find, as I said before, the plastic pipes are red and blue to represent hot and cold, so it should be a straightforward matter. I'll take the red one and just screw it in place, and the blue one, I'll just screw that in place as well. So we do them up until they're just finger tight to start with, because these things, you'll see there's a rubber seal, so what you're trying to do is seal on that rubber seal and make sure that rubber seal is there, and it seals onto the top of this threaded section. So do them up, and then same deal, we'll take grippers, we will hold on to the plastic part to stop it from turning. And while we do that, we'll take our adjustable spanner and we'll just nip that up so it's just tight enough. Now this is quite critical because this is a plastic insert. Now this plastic the threads will strip really easily. So what I suggest you do, tighten it up as tight as you dare, remembering that it's plastic, and you might want to buy two of these if you're replacing the actual fitting, just in case, if you're not used to it. Tighten just as much as you can, and then switch all the pumps on, and then have a look at it, and if it's leaking you can nip it up a little bit more. If it's not leaking, leave it there with a pump pressurized for 4 or 5 hours, come back, see that it's all right, give it a good waggle, make sure there's no water coming out. If you're good after that, chances are you've sealed it and it's ready to go. Here we are, I've done these up now, and I've just turned the pump on and pressurized the system, and I've had a feel around. It feels like it's watertight. The big test now, we turn the tap on. There we go, bit of air in the system. There's the hot side. And there's the cold side. Perfect. Just the job. New tap. And then, as I said before, I'm going to leave this for a few hours now and just double check that it's sound before I finally put this panel back on. In this case I'm okay if it does leak because it connects to the shower tray, so it will actually won't leak out anywhere, but it's quite important to make sure that it's nice and sealed. So that's it, job done. The things you might run into trouble with are different connectors. So generally plastic pipe here will have push fit connectors. If you buy a new tap, if it's a different sort, what will tend to happen, so this one I got off eBay, but what will tend to happen, it'll suggest what connectors to have. You go for a caravan tap, it'll say, oh, you'll need these particular type of connectors, in this case push fit to I think it's a 1/4 inch or 3/4 inch thread on these things, but that's the difficult part, getting that correct adapter. But as I said, the eBay listing should hopefully have those on it before you go. Apart from that, it's really quite straightforward. It's low pressure, so not much of an issue. So I hope that was helpful. If you liked it, please subscribe. Otherwise, I'll see you next time.